There we are, Shane. So the UK Prime Minister there, Keir Starmer, talking about gangs, migration, nothing that we haven't heard before. But let's be positive.
You'd almost think he was being unpopular at home or something like that he's resorting to talking about immigration.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Now let's have a chat about this. More than 20,000 migrants have arrived in the UK since 2025. And I think statistically that's up 56%, which is not a small number, and 7,000 more than back in 2024. But the reality is 15 people have died. It's extremely tragic. You know, this new plan, one in, one out deal, it sounds simple, but it's not simple, is it?
No, like that doesn't even work in nightclubs, so I don't know how it's going to work across the channel. So, but it basically, so at the moment it is very much a pilot, and they're looking at 50 people, I think, migrants to be sent sort of like each way. And when I was looking into sort of the report, they were saying that ultimately it'll end up being 1 in 17 migrants will be sent back to France, which roughs out, when they did the math, it was about 2,600. But when you look at the numbers you've just quoted, that's like, you know, maybe like sort of 10-15% of it. So I don't think this huge policy announcement is going to solve the problem. Like, they need to look at sort of the grassroots one and go back to you know, when the Conservatives were talking about focusing on the criminals that are actually bringing them over in the first place. But also, you know, I like to go back to the theory. Unfortunately, that's where it all starts, and it all comes back to what's called the Dublin Convention, which, when I looked up at it just a couple minutes before it came out, goes back to like 1990. So we've been talking about this for decades, and it's been renewed constantly. But basically this was agreed by all of the countries, and obviously the UK was part of the EU at the time. And the rule then is that when a migrant comes to the EU, the first country that they enter is where they should stay. But if they follow through to 2 or 3 more countries, then that's an indication that they're not really sort of asylum seekers, they're more sort of economic migrants. So the rule is that they should be sent back to the entry country, which is obviously not the UK, unless I know they're coming from Greenland or something. But I think this is also kind of unfair in terms of, like, because a lot of the entry countries are going to be obviously Italy, Greece, coming from the Mediterranean or from the Middle East. So clearly they're moving from these entry countries through to France, and then France is just letting them through to the UK. So I think internally in the EU they need to solve this problem, but also the UK just needs to be less attractive.